Hi parents. This is another video on the topic of playful obstruction, and it's sort of a precursor. I wanted to go back even deeper and talk a little bit about some of the buildup it might take to get to that level where you can really playfully obstruct in a way that's going to expand language and expand play and expand and increase the length that your child is interacting with you and all those things. So before we get there, we might be seeing signs that it's time to step back and rebuild that trust and make sure that they're even tolerating you in their space. So that's where we're going to start. So I like to think of it as three steps to getting us to the level of being able to playfully obstruct in a very non-stressful way for your child, because it really should be playful and it should be built on trust. So step one is where we're going to be building trust and building their tolerance toward you even invading their space while they're in their little routine. Okay, so let's just say they're stacking blocks and they're maybe lining them up and you can just tell they're in their zone. And you've decided, I'm going to try and see if I can join them. So you go over and you try one of the techniques of just playfully trying to come closer. And so you're going to try and inch your way closer and just be checking in with him. See if he notices you, see if he's looking at you, giving you any signs with his body that he doesn't want you to come closer. Maybe you hear sounds or stress increasing somehow. And you're going to read that. And if that's what you're sensing, then you just kind of stay where you are or you step back a little bit. So that's the first step. In that step, you can start modeling language like, no, mommy, or stay there, or mine, or go away, or leave me alone. So if you get a sense, like real clear picture that he's not wanting you to come any closer, then you can model stop, stay there. And that is a really great first goal. If you get him to start using that language or even just the gesture to tell you not to come closer, then that's great. That's a success. That's your first step. So that first step is all about building trust. If he knows and learns that if he just has to tell you to stop, you'll stay put, and you can give him that for the next few days, maybe even a week long of not getting any closer, then he's gonna start to trust you more being closer in that spot. And then you're gonna want to just get a little closer and a little closer and see if you can build him tolerating you. And then till finally you are right in the same space. Not necessarily touching his toys, interrupting his play, or obstructing it playfully yet, but just being there with him. That's your first goal. Okay, and then step two, once you feel like, okay, he's letting me in his space now, he's tolerating me being right there with him, but I'm still not maybe touching his stuff yet, you can go into the step two. I don't want to rush it, so you want to make sure that you're kind of just trying step two out, and if you get a lot of resistance and maybe there's a meltdown or he's just like upset by that, then you just step back and try it again the next time. So step two is now about making choices, giving them options. And so you've built up the trust of you being in his space. Now you can say, can I sit with you? And if he says yes, great, you just made it another level. Another option is to say, can mommy sit here or on the couch? So you're going to give him choices now. If you can get him to say on the couch, great, go sit on the couch. Reward him, good job. Okay, I'll sit on the couch. You made it another step. You've increased it now from him tolerating you there to now using language when offered a choice. So some of the language that you can model is sit here or there. You can even give him the choice, can I touch your toy? He might say yes, he might say no. Or you can say, can I touch this toy or that toy? And if he lets you touch one of his toys, awesome, you got a little bit higher, right? You got a little more trust built there. So you can give him choices about which toy you can touch or which toy you can have. You can give him choices about the duration. Let's say he lets you hold one of the toys, one of the blocks. You can say, can I count to 3 or should I count to 5? And maybe he can answer that choice, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then you give it back. So that step is a little tricky. If you feel like he's going to let you hold it and you just had to give it back right away, to keep him calm, then that's good. Just start with that. You want to build up to maybe holding it a little bit longer and longer, and you can offer to count if that kind of reduces the stress. For some kids, counting actually increases the stress, so you just want to try it out and see what happens. You can also say, can I have it for 1 turn or 2 turns if it's more of a turn-taking type game. So this step 2, is all about tolerating you in his space longer and longer, and then also building up toward playful obstruction and making choices. So let's say that goes really well. He is now letting you in his space. He is answering, yes, you can sit here or there. He is giving you, maybe letting you touch his toy or hold one for longer and longer. And he's giving you choices like this toy or that toy. All of that's going well for maybe a week or so. Then you can go on to step 3. And again, you're going to just test each step out, and you might have to step back once in a while. So step 3 is all about expanding. So you're going to be expanding the length of being in a space with him, the amount of turns you're taking, the amount of toys you're touching. You're just building on all of that. And here's where you can really, truly start to playfully obstruct. And again, playfully, not forcefully, not too quickly, but playfully and calmly after you've built this trust in the first 2 steps. So playful obstruction is now more about interrupting his play in a playful way. So if he's stacking those blocks, maybe your hand gets in the way and he has to tell you to move your hand. Or he's stacking the blocks and you put a car on top. Again, these are all trial and error. You might really get him upset. He might break down and run off. But now you know next time, okay, he didn't like that car on top of the blocks. Can't do that next time. So you're just going to just creatively try to think of ways where you're going to obstruct what he's doing, but in very small steps. It could be he lets you hold that toy that he let you hold before, but now maybe you hide it in your pocket or behind you. So then when he wants it back, you're like, where is it? I don't know where it went. So you just extended it to a step of trying to find it. Again, move very slowly. If that upsets him a whole bunch, then find it really quickly and give it back. Oh, there it is. Here you go. Make it a short hide and seek game. If he likes that, then see how long you can get him looking for that block before you give it back. Because that gives you an opportunity to stretch it longer and longer. You can add a little tickle to it when you're giving the block back. You can tickle him with it, or you can give it back to him in slow motion. 1, 2, 3, here you go. So again, all these ways to just stretch out that interaction longer and longer. Another thing you can start to add at this level, if that's going well, you're starting to expand it. He's tolerating you taking toys and hiding them and being silly with it. Now you can even add some pretend play. Maybe he gives you the block and you pretend to fall asleep. And before you give it back, he has to say, wake up, mommy. And then you give it back. So again, you're just adding playful obstruction. You're obstructing what his routine was in a playful and in a trusting way, so that he's going to think it's fun and he's going to want to maybe join you in your style of play now. It becomes more of a relational game then. You're going to model language like my turn, wake up, more all done. You're also given the opportunity at this stage to model different ways to play with those blocks now. So you're working on flexibility and rigidity here. You're helping to model ways to use the blocks that not necessarily are more functional, but that are just different so that he's not getting stuck on his same routine. So those are the 3 steps. Our goal is to be able to get to where we can playfully obstruct after building trust in the first 2 steps. And I think that's important because we don't want to just jump too quickly to playfully obstructing when we think that maybe he needs to have a little more time to just tolerate you in his space. So I hope that's helpful. And I'm going to, in my next video, share with you some ways to continue to expand playfully now when you get to that level of playful obstruction. All right, take care. Bye.